Hi friends, and welcome back to Stardew Valley Expanded, a mod that expands on the base Stardew Valley experience. Today, we're finishing up the summer of our first year on Cloud Farm and getting ready for whatever autumn might hold. There's a lot to get done, so let's jump right into it. Day 23 starts the same as always with watering the crops and harvesting anything that's grown since last time, making sure to sell anything that I don't need. Next up is the daily head pats for chickens Choba, Bobo, and Wirt, along with the daily kidnapping of their children to sell them for my own profits. One of these days I'll actually remember the mushrooms while I'm over by the chickens. Today was not that day. Because today was a bad luck day, like so many days in my life, I decided to spend all of my energy clearing out the rest of my farm. Or as much as I could with my lackluster tools and poor sense of external motivation. Several hours later, I headed over to Pierre's to spend all of my money and buy the world's most expensive backpack. I don't think it's even name brand. From there, it was back to my farm to grab my hoe so I could spend the day trying to make the worms feel at least a tiny bit of the suffering I endure on a daily basis trying to take care of this farm. On to day 24. This morning, I finally got word from Clint that my axe was done getting its first growth spurt and was ready to be picked up from blacksmith daycare. Demetrius also sent me this shell, so that's nice, I guess. At least it's raining, so I don't have to deal with watering everything today, and I can just skip right to the harvest. A little rain doesn't mean my chickens are safe from the mental torment of being stuck inside and forced to witness their chickens' inevitable demise at the hands of capitalism, though. But the mushrooms don't even have sentience going for them. I retrieved my toddler of an axe from Clint and immediately put it to good use by continuing to clear out my farm. I have to get it ready for autumn somehow. That was well and good until I saw a worm and my aggression towards those dirt dwellers immediately returned, so I spent the rest of the day seeking some free therapy in the form of invertebrate violence. I also finally leveled up my farming skills, so I can actually make sprinklers that are somewhat useful. That's it for day 24, so on to day 25. The spirits are angry with my lifestyle choices again, but they can't be too mad because it's also raining, which means I can get straight to the daily harvest. George needs a hot pepper to ice his knee, but I'm thinking he might need it for something else that I'm entirely unwilling to say on the internet. Anyways, I have my normal daily interaction with the chickens and steal their children, and I finally remembered to harvest the mushrooms while I'm over there. Then, of course, I have to sell the kids for profit. Have you ever thought about how hard those eggs must be to not immediately break when you chuck them into a big wooden bin? Those are some tough eggs right there. Or maybe my chickens are just part ostrich. I'll go give George his suspicious hot pepper and we can pretend that never happened. I think that'd be best for both of us. Regardless of what the ghosts think of me, I'm going to spend the rest of the day fishing anyways. At least I'm starting to make back some of the cost of that backpack. On to day 26. Unsurprisingly, the ghosts are still angry, but on the bright side, it is still raining and I get blueberries today. Then it's time for the chicken children gathering, and yes, I forgot about the mushrooms altogether today. Rain means more worms, so I spent the afternoon wandering around looking for worthy sacrifices. And saying hello to an old friend. Then it was back to the farm to spend yet more time clearing out all of the trees and weeds that had the audacity to grow where I didn't want them to. With that wildly exciting day over, on to day 27. The ghosts do like me this morning, but it's also sunny, so I don't think they really understand what matters to me. Unfortunately, that means it's back to the normal routine of actually watering the crops before I can harvest them. Then I'll steal the eggs and actually remember the mushrooms today. Don't worry, I didn't entirely forget about Rutherford either. Just mostly. Chuck the chickens in the bin and head over to the mines to give myself a break from the pain of being subservient to a bunch of chickens. I finally made it down to floor 100, which rewarded me with a Stardrop fruit that reminds me of puppies of all things. Rutherford must be upset. Then it's time to head home for one last day of summer, so on to day 28. Surprise, surprise, the ghosts are still angry. Fortunately, I don't care about their opinion, and I don't need them to approve of any of today's activities. Demetrius also sent us a fish in the mail, which I really can't imagine smells that great, but okay. He also invited us to see a ton of jellies tonight, so I guess I'm staying up late. There's no point in watering all the crops that are just going to die tomorrow anyways, because they're overly dramatic about seasonal change, but I do have time for one more harvest. If there's no crops to water, I'll just water the dog instead. The chickens get their daily head pat and their daily children thievery. The daily head pat is apparently adequate payment for their parental struggles, which I appreciate. The shrooms are growing just as well as ever, and I can sell off any unnecessary produce lying around the farm. I head down to Clint to give my axe another shot at making it to its developmental puberty, so no wood chopping for a few days. But I have plenty of decorating to do around the farm. After trying a few designs, I settled on one that will eventually allow me to use iridium sprinklers without having to redo all of my hard work. It's called thinking ahead. I don't think I've ever done that before. Then it's just a matter of wasting time by whacking some weeds until I can head down to the beach. The Moonlight Jellies Festival itself isn't too exciting, but at least some people have some fun things to say. Personally, I think Gus might benefit from a light entree of a toxic hydrostatic skeleton, but who am I to say? And Penny clearly doesn't understand the struggles of being a jelly. Imagine being eaten by sea turtles. I've also never met someone whose favorite animal is a jelly. They're the ocean's most loved amorphous blobs, at least. Demetrius is supposed to be the scientist here, but he clearly has never heard of how anglerfish hunt. Anyways, we set out on a tiny boat with a candle just to have all the jellies come right up to the dock. Did you know that the collective noun for a group of jellies is called a smack? You do now. Do with that information what you will. That's it for summer. On to autumn. The ghosts are extremely angry today. I don't know why I even bother asking for their opinion anymore. I'll just finish up the early stages of my new farm layout and clear out the remains of last season's crops. The chickens still need their acknowledgement, and I still have children to gather, as well as shrooms to harvest. Only one child goes for sale today, but I'm sure we'll have plenty in the near future. Then I think I need to buy a bunch of new seasonal seeds from Pierre's. I bought some pumpkin, some eggplant, some yam, and some cranberry seeds to start off my autumn. Then I planted them somewhat haphazardly in my newly prepared farming segments. And because my sprinklers are already slacking on their first day, I have to water all of the crops myself. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. For some reason, I decided it would be a great idea to try fishing in the sketchy lava pool in the mines. I didn't get anything useful, so I tried again in the ice pool. At least that one actually contained some fish. And then it was time to go home and move on for my first day of fall. I've officially left summer behind, and my sprinklers are finally hard at work, which should save me from at least some of my daily labors. Eventually this world will bow to me, but for now, I'll call it a day here. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And as always, have a great day.